All right, troop listener, welcome back. You're listening to Nothing But the Truth on 880 AM, WMDB, the Big Mouth. We have our very special guest with us, former Egyptian Muslim, author, women activist, Nonie Darwish in the Truth Zone. We're going to take a couple of calls, then we're going to get back to talking about some of the good stuff. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Barry with Tea Party.
Go ahead, Barry.
Hey, isn't this similar to what the left in this country does by calling people Uncle Toms or wanting to stay on, if they venture away from the Democratic Party, they call it the plantation? I mean, isn't this a way, similar
Yes.
by, saying that if you're black, you can't make it on your own. You have to follow our way of thinking, our line of thinking. That's what the left treats people like that.
Yeah, well,
Is that similar?
yeah, it's very similar, but it's Islam and Islamic law, Sharia, took it to an extreme. But if you notice, there's similarities really between all totalitarian regimes. I consider the far left in America want to control the public. They want to control every aspect of your life. They have a tendency to want to control what you eat, what you drink. Very soon, we're going to work. All of us are going to work for the government and be slaves of the government in America. And they will tell us what to do, how to live, how to bring up our kids, and it's dangerous. The tendency for government really is to expand. And Islam came to being in the 7th century as a rejection to Christianity and Judaism, because the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century was a brutal desert culture that was warring tribes. Men owned women like cattle, harem. There was nothing called marriage one man, one woman. The concept of marriage one man, one woman was a revolutionary, the most revolutionary law ever created by Christianity and by Jesus Christ. And it civilized people. And that's why Western civilization, because they applied one man, one woman, they have succeeded in bringing about a free society and a democratic society. Islam, on the other hand, did not want to accept Christianity and Judaism, which was penetrating the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century, because accepting Christianity was going to revolutionize the culture of Arabia totally. It wasn't going to be warring culture. They hated their neighboring tribe. They fought and stole from each other. It was and it was harem. One man, 10 women. One man, 20 women. So they had to reject the Judeo-Christian impact on Arabia to preserve their culture. Because if they had accepted Christianity, and which was penetrating already Arabia, they would have needed to go through a total cultural change. And Muhammad didn't want that. He wanted to preserve Arabian culture, and he came up with Islam as a rejection of Christianity and Judaism. And that's why before he died, he said the Arabian Peninsula and any Muslim country will have no Christians and no Jews. They'll be out of the Arabian Peninsula. Until today, Christians and Jews and any non-Muslim is not allowed in Mecca. So totalitarian regimes, whether it's Islam, I don't consider Islam a religion. Actually, Islam is more of a political system, a totalitarian political system, just like communism and fascism. And I'm not the one who said that. The most popular Muslim preacher in the 20th century, his name was Sheikh Maududi, and he stated that Islam wants to control every aspect of your life and activity. And in that sense, Islam is like fascism and communism, unquote. That was a statement said by Maududi, who is a prominent Muslim thinker of the 20th century. So if Islam is like communism and fascism, why are we allowing it to expand in America like that? They are demanding now Sharia law. They are walking in New York today, demanding Islamic law, which is it's against our constitution. They already have the audacity with being less than 1% of the population, already are insulting our president. They're already insulting our constitution when they're 1%. What are they going to do if they're 10%? We're going to have a Chechnya on our hands in America. What does Chechnya mean? It means we're going to have bombs in schools. We're going to have bombs like in Russia. The Chechens are demanding a separatist movement. They're going to demand a separatist movement. This is the modus operandi of wherever Muslims go, they want Sharia law or else. And or else means terrorism in schools, in theaters, in restaurants, and that's what's happening in Chechnya today. Kosovo, the same thing. India split itself with Pakistan. Pakistan used to be part of India. What happened? The Muslims wanted to have a separatist movement because they want their Sharia law. What did India do? Okay, take a piece of our land and leave us alone. Did they leave them alone? No. They're bombing Indian hotels. They're still bombing. They want all of India now. The same thing is happening. This is what's going to happen in America if we don't wake up.
Truth listener, this is Nonie Darwish. Now, she's going to be here this weekend. I want y'all to go register. She's going to be at the event at Full Life Assembly of God's Church in Franklin, Tennessee. I want you guys to go register if you want to hear her. You think I have some knowledge on it. She used to be a former Muslim. She can tell you all the things about Islam and Sharia law. I want you to go register right now at www.fulllifeag.com. There's still seats open. It's still time. Go register because she's going to be there both weekends. No, we'll have a few minutes left. I want to talk about, in the short time we have left, some of the things that you're doing as an activist and your books that you've written. I've read some of your books and I enjoy. Tell us about some of the stuff you're doing as an activist and your books.
Yeah, I started speaking after 9/11. I never intended to do what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But because I love this country, I'm speaking out and I'm risking my life because I love this country. I owe America everything. It gave me my dignity and my freedom. And that's why I speak. And I want every American to understand that their freedom is at stake today by the people who are demanding Sharia and by these radical mosques that are being financed by Saudi Arabia. And that's why I'm speaking out. I wrote my first book is called Now They Call Me Infidel. The second book is about Sharia law it's called Cruel and Usual Punishment, the terrifying global implications of Islamic law. I have an article that I've written recently, and you can find it on the internet. If you Google Nonie, Nonie Darwish, Darwish, and the article is called Sharia for Dummies. It's just a 2-page thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it really makes it very clear what Sharia is. Can you believe it? A Muslim man can beat his wife and he doesn't have to tell the police why.
Wow.
If her father comes to rescue her, her father will be arrested by the police if he tries to enter the home to rescue his daughter. It's within the right of a man to beat his wife. It's within the right of any Muslim to kill somebody like myself who became a Christian. Man. So we are dealing with a brutal law. This is not religion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is like communism and fascism. America has fought communism and fascism. It's time to fight Sharia law and radical Islam.
All right. We got another call on the line. Now, this is the time to ask you a question. Now, I think Nonie's going to be able to come back tomorrow for us for a little bit, too.
Okay.
Tell your friends and everybody to listen. These are the time to ask you questions.
Hey, Nonie, I just had to call back.
Go ahead.
Know what that sounds like to me? This is Barry.
Go ahead, Barry.
It sounds like a slave law, like the way we used to have 200 years ago today. We could do whatever we wanted with the people. But that's what Sharia sounds like. You're enslaved. You have no freedom whatsoever to do what you want.
The word Islam itself, sir, means doesn't mean peace. Islam, it means submission, like a slave. Do you know that the name Abdullah, it's very famous in Abdul Hamid, Abdul Tawwab, the word Abd means slave of Allah. you are a slave. If you're Muslim, you're a slave. And you're a slave, it's a hierarchical society. And if you go to visit the Middle East, you'll find the people on the lower levels of the poorer people are treated like slaves. Slavery was never abolished by Sharia.
Oh.
Slavery was never. It's
Okay.
highly regulated, and it makes me want to pull my hair.
That's
Why
interesting.
Black African Americans are gravitating to, and converting to Islam when Islam never freed slaves. Slavery was practiced in Saudi Arabia until 1962. Slavery practiced until 1962 officially in Saudi Arabia. And who embarrassed Saudi Arabia into stopping Sharia law, into stopping slavery? Western Christian nations. And you know, the day Saudi Arabia announced there is no more slavery officially, there were riots in Mecca and Medina, the holy lands of Islam. They were rioting because how can they take away the religious rights and freedoms to own slaves? They used to, in time of Muhammad, cross the Red Sea, go to Africa and get the Somalis and the Ethiopians and enslave them. And the women, they used to enslave them naked, because when you buy a woman slave, she has to be naked. And that's why Muslim women who want to be proud that they are not slaves, they used to get dressed in cover even their faces. And covering up in Islam means I'm not a slave.
Wow.
I'm a good woman.
True listeners, this is Nonie Darwish. She's going to come back tomorrow for a few minutes. Nonie, tell everybody how they can find your information, or you have a website or something they can go to and visit.
Yeah, my books are on Amazon.com. And my website, I have two websites, ArabsForIsrael.com and FormerMuslimsUnited.org. FormerMuslimsUnited.org.
All right, true listener, that's Nonie Darwish. She will be back tomorrow at the top of the hour, at the beginning of the show. Make sure you tune in. You don't want to miss this. If you got any questions you want to ask Nonie, send me an email at nothingbuttetruth09@yahoo.com. All right, that's concludes another show. See you tomorrow. Remember, the truth is the only thing that matters. See you tomorrow.